On this week's episode, extortion stops a Natalie Portman TV show. House of the Dragon, the major HBO Max show, gets a season 2 announced. Daniel Craig talks Knives Out sequel, casting calls, and a spoiler review of Nope. For the Hub on Hollywood, I'm James.
I'm Jamie. Let's get to all this action.
Let's go. Just to kick off this episode, let's try to get as many people subscribing and commenting on this episode. We are back from Boston Fan Expo. We feel rejuvenated. We have this brand new stuff with a lot of fun topics. So we need you over there to, if you're watching or listening, give us a like, give us a share, subscribe. Any good reviews, positive comments gives us motivation to do another great show. And that's what we have for everyone here today.
And if you saw us at Anime Boss at Fan Expo Boston, if we interviewed you, if we interviewed your friend, let them know, share the love, and check out our last episode. Maybe you'll see yourself there. We had a lot of fun doing that, and we put it all together for you in a very cool episode. Check it out below.
Yeah,
but we've got so much more. What's that, James?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, we do have so much more. But, just to pump up that last episode even more, we have several hundred views. Whenever Fan Expo comes to town, I know everybody's on a different wavelength and level. Like, everybody's happy, having a good time in their fandom. And so, yeah, very fun episode to check out.
And if you're fans of Encanto, I was dressed as Mirabel, a very convincing and apparently famous Mirabel.
You were a celebrity for the day.
I know, it was like a rock star, and I couldn't find like Bruno or whatever, but that would have been really funny if we did. But yeah, so if you're fans of Encanto, you got to check it out.
There was a mini Maribel somewhere, but we couldn't find her. I saw her like as I was entering the building. That would have been an amazing photo. A great.
She had to go for a nap. Yeah.
We'll find her next year. But let's go right into some of our big stories in Hollywood right now. The first one coming from Baltimore. Again, Massachusetts is not the only place where they film TV shows or movies, even though it seems like they film everything here.
I know, it feels like
that.
It feels like it.
Maybe they should have filmed in Massachusetts, because Natalie Portman's new show, Lady of the Lake, which is a new Apple TV Plus series, they had to stop production last Friday in Baltimore after police say the crew, they were approached and threatened with violence by some unknown individuals and were threatening them that they needed to get paid money in order for the area to be safe, quote unquote, extorting these people for money and protection. And so the crew, they had to stop filming, and they had to look for another spot to continue working, though at the moment it's not clear if Natalie Portman or if her co-host, Moses Ingram, was there. But not quite the way you want to start, kicking off a new TV show with being extorted.
No, and I lived in the Washington, D.C. area for 6 years, James, and Baltimore, one of my very favorite places to visit, spend time at, but there are parts of Baltimore that are, very rough and, need a little bit of help. And so I can absolutely see that sort of happening, and it's always a danger. I think it was not too long ago, there was a production assistant that was shot while on set in an random act of violence. So it's tough when you're making these movies and you want to be authentic and you want to be on scene and you want to bring those jobs and opportunities to that area and highlight a certain area when it's a little bit dangerous. So that is why a lot of productions, they bring the police in, the state police, kind of to help them secure the areas and stuff like that. But it's really unfortunate when something like this happens, because they're only harming themselves. They're only harming that area and all the job and all the business that, these hundreds of, if not thousands of production workers bring to the area for X number of days or weeks. That's something that everyone in the area is missing out on. But we're glad Natalie's safe. And protection money. This is not a mobster movie. Like, who do you think you are? Come on.
The wrong people to try to extort. People with tons of security and police all around closing off streets. I was going to ask you, have you ever felt unsafe or ever found yourself, filming in a sketchy area ever before?
I want to work again, James, so I don't know if I want to answer this question, but let's just say vaguely yes. There was one production in particular where we didn't feel safe, where a number of extras were kind of left on a street that was not particularly safe or watched out for. Like they kind of left us there without any other protection. And wow. that kind of became a little mini issue, but it was resolved. It was eventually resolved, and we were moved and brought back into the envelope of the filmmaking area. It happens sometimes, though. That's why safety officers and safety on set is so very important. It really is.
You don't want to also lose your extras. Like, say you leave them somewhere in a precarious situation, and come back, don't be surprised that they're not nearby anymore.
Yeah. Either they got kidnapped or they're like, I'm out of here. So.
Glad you're okay. I'm glad that your story did not become a murder mystery. That brings me to our next topic, Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, the sequel, starring a Mr. Daniel Craig reprising his role as a Mr. Blanc. His name is Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we just got new photos released showing first, the release of the entire cast. They're all sitting around this very long dinner table, and then you see a Mr. Blanc, played by Daniel Craig, addressing everybody, and everybody kind of looking kind of tense. And most recently, James Bond himself, he was a new photo of him on the Knives Out set came out, showing him in wonder and maybe in a suspicious mindset, leaning over his arm. I'm expecting there to be more photos released of the sequel to Knives Out, and eventually, hopefully very soon, a trailer for this one, because already the cast is amazing, and this is one of my top movies I'm looking forward to coming out, I believe next year, right? Or is it later this year?
I'm not 100% sure on the release, but I am 100% sure that I will be watching this more than once. So we all know that Knives Out 1 was filmed in Massachusetts. I got to spend 10 days on that set. I was the hand double for Ana de Armas, her body double, driver, hand double, foot double, etc. And spending 10 days in that fantastic, amazing mansion. And so very excited to see how they are going to outdo themselves, because when this film came out, it became one of the top grossing films of that year. It just knocked everything out of the park. I think it even outpaced the Star Wars movie that we do not talk about that came out that year as well. So Daniel Craig has addressed that directly, whether or not they will be able to outdo themselves, because how do you make lightning strike again? You know what I mean? It got everybody interested in the murder mystery again. It got everybody so excited and ramped up for this unique storytelling. Rian Johnson, the writer and director, he is a genius. He is an absolute genius writer and filmmaker. I know that you don't always agree with every decision that Rian Johnson makes, but Daniel Craig was just singing his praises of the director and writer Rian Johnson. They filmed this in France. They've got a whole new cast. I'm really intrigued by the title. Is it The Green Onion? What is, what could this...
Onion.
The Glass Onion. The Glass Onion.
Even more mysterious. Let me ask you this, because with the sequel coming out, whenever a smash hit movie debuts, and of course the producers, the studios, they want to make more money, so they want to make a sequel. The biggest mistake that they usually do is, people love the first one, let's just do that again. Hence, you have Hangover 2 and Hangover 3, and you have all these other movies that are just the same, rehashing of the first story. Daniel Craig, in addition to singing the praises of Rian Johnson, he also said that, fortunately, his experience of revitalizing his previous character, James Bond, and keeping it fresh and exciting for each movie, that actually helped him prepare for this film. Again, he's learning and has learned, of course, how to redo his very iconic accent from the first film, but he's putting in so much more time to, with a dialect coach to get that down. And again, not the biggest fan of Rian Johnson for everything, but I will admit that Knives Out is close to a masterpiece. And so if they can shake it up, the formula, I'm excited.
Well, he proved with The Last Jedi that he can break the mold, that he's not afraid to take these characters and tell a new story.
For good or bad, he can break the mold.
For good or bad, I think good, he thinks bad, but, he can take these characters and tell something new and authentic. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. And that's what Craig said. When you have the right people, when you have the right talent, you can make this happen. And I think also when you are character-centric, I will say this every episode if I have to. When you tell a story based on the characters and the characters lead you and lead that story in a very authentic way, and you believe in those characters and you make them real and they tell the story and you follow them, like you come up with new and exciting and amazing storytelling opportunities. And I think everyone involved in this project is of that mindset. So I'm not worried. I know it's going to be amazing, and I just can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, it's coming out December 23rd, so right before Christmas for the holiday weekend. And again, just going over this great cast, we have Ethan Hawke, Jessica Henwick, Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn, Dave Bautista. Yeah, Catherine, she's back. We have Kate Hudson, who we haven't seen in quite a bit, or maybe I haven't noticed or seen too recent. But Kate Hudson, she's back. And I'm very excited for Leslie Odom Jr. of Hamilton fame. And so another great cast. The first movie also had a stellar lineup of A-list stars. And so, yeah, a lot of good hype going into this sequel. But I'm curious to know, what do you think? Are you excited for Glass Onion, the Knives Out sequel, or the Knives Out mystery? So yeah, very excited, coming out in December. Comment down below, what are your predictions for this mystery? Who do you think will be the killer? Will there be a killer this time? And show us some love down below. Give us a like, subscribe, comment, and all that fun jazz. Speaking about other fun jazz, you know what else is fun?
And all that jazz. What? Besides musical theater.
Yeah. Besides that, and a close second is getting people jobs and getting them on the screen, whether that be large, small, and everything in between. And so I think we should just go right into our casting calls, because we have quite a few, and several of them look really, really good.
Yeah, so we want to get you on the silver screen or on the TV screen in any way. Netflix, Showtime, all of them are filming here in and around Boston. The Kevin Can F Himself Season 2 just came out that was filming here. A number of productions have just wrapped up. The one with Zendaya, the tennis movie Challengers, that just wrapped up production. But we've got another number of other ones that are starting up. So let's see. And we've got commercials. We've got so much happening here in Hollywood East. It's so busy New over England. Here. It's
like Tinsel Townie East. We need that'll be our spin-off podcast title.
Of Tinsel Townie?
Tinsel Townie. Ooh.
See what you did that.
I didn't even think about that. That's even great. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Tinsel Trademark Townie. Tinsel Townie.
Wow.
That's our spin-off show.
We gotta rename the whole podcast.
High five.
Good job. All right. High five.
We'll hash on this, but I just have a million ideas of what that segment could be, or a spin-off.
Holy
All right.
crap.
Okay,
You're
stay
genius.
tuned. This is why you should keep up with our episodes. You get the breaking news and our minds working.
All right,
but yeah, let's start this off. Do you want to go?
Keeping that in mind. CP Casting is looking for female actors aged 19 to 35 who are fluent in another language. Any other language, they don't specify. This is for a feature film. You're going to be working several days in the fall in Massachusetts. If you are fluent in another language, como español or whatever, you're going to want to send your name, your phone number, where you live right now, some recent photos, what languages you speak, an acting resume, and what your availability is through November. Because they're going to want to know and put you in the movie. You're going to email all of that to cpcastingsubmission2022@gmail.com.
All right. So Slate Casting, they're not saying exactly what this is for, but they call this a fun project. And so they're looking for fit African-American men between 45 and 55 years old for a non-union gig that pays $2,500 if you are cast. And so if you are interested, if you are African-American, fit between 45 and 55, send your name, current photo, city where you live, best contact information, screen headshots and whatnot. Send all that to slateselftape@gmail.com, slateselftape@gmail.com, and you must be vaccinated to submit.
Also, the other big thing that is filming right now, James, is the Madam Web movie.
Yes.
This is the Sony addition to the Spider-Verse, starring Dakota Johnson, that I've worked on.
Starring Jamie, yeah.
That I've worked on.
Oh, no.
No, it's okay. I guess I can, just say that. That's all I can say. Okay. Starring Dakota Johnson, Jamie Blanco. No. Adam Scott and a number of other really great actors. And they are looking for background performers, both union and non-union, for this, that is going to be filming throughout the summer. So for that, you're going to want to go to KendallCooperCasting.com. They are handling all of the casting for that, all the background. So that is a really fun opportunity. Let's see, who else are we looking for? Oh, this one's fun. This one's fun, okay. Guys. Okay. So are you an older gentleman in your 70s to 80s who is comfortable in a Speedo and would like to just let it all hang out on set?
In a
Speedo. Then Boston Casting is looking for you for a commercial project. And this is, word for word what they have here. They said, wrinkles and skin that sags is a plus. Don't be embarrassed. That's what they need. So this is shooting later in August. It pays $1,500 for one day, non-union gig. So if that sounds like you and you are super confident and, are willing to go for it, then you want to send a recent photo, ideally in a bathing suit, with the subject line Senior Male Speedo and your name to Boston Casting Summer Project@gmail.com.
What do you think they're selling? What do you think they're doing?
I don't know what they're selling. I don't know if it's going to make me want to buy that thing, but it sounds fun. It sounds funny. So if this sounds like you or your grandpa, help them submit. What do you think it is?
Maybe it's a Six Flags commercial, and the old man who dances. Yeah. Instead, now they're looking for an actual one because they want to hire. They want to be
authentic.
Authentic, that's the word.
Right.
And so they're just moving him into promoting a new water park for Six Flags.
There you go. All right.
That's an idea.
I'm down. Yeah. Sounds about right.
That's interesting.
All right, what else do we have?
We have an amazing commercial that Slate Casting is looking for folks for. They are searching for Asian actors, male and female, who are 40 years old and older for this non-union job. Pays $2,500 if you are cast, and you must have acting experience as well as your vaccination card. So if you are an Asian actor, male or female, over 40 years old, 40 plus, send your name, headshot, what city you live in, best contact information, send that to slateselftape@gmail.com.
Yep. And finally, Boston Casting is also looking for extras through the next couple of months for Julia Season 2, which is on the streaming services. And they are filming now through the rest of the summer and into the fall. The women need to have their hair above their shoulders. Gentlemen need to be, clean cut, clean shaven, all of that. because this is a period piece about the life of Julia Childs. And so if you want that casting information and anything else, any of the other projects that, the amazing Boston Casting is always putting out there, go ahead and go to their website, bostoncasting.com, sign up for those emails, and you will know as soon as we do when you can be on the silver screen.
Absolutely. And if you know someone who can make it, who fits any of those descriptions, who's 75 years old and older with wrinkly skin, who wants to be in a Speedo, send them an episode, send them a link to the Hub on Hollywood. All right. Great stuff.
And speaking of reality bending, have you watched Kevin Can F Himself?
No.
Okay. All right. So the premise of that show is really interesting as well. You've got this guy, Kevin, who, the whole world revolves around him, and, like, parts of the show are, like a really sticky 90s sitcom-esque type, shot with the laugh track and everything. But then it goes back to his wife, who is actually living this, and her husband thinks he's like the main character in a show, but then it shows her real life, and it's a lot darker and grittier, and she just is living in domestic hell. She hates it. She hates Kevin. She can't get out of the relationship. And so she does, I guess, what some people would do in her situation. She plots to kill him. And that was season 1. So this was also shot here in Massachusetts. And it's a really fun show because it goes back and forth between the shticky, set, comedy, rom-com or whatever, 90s sets, to like the real life, to the more gritty cameras that are in your face and following the characters versus like, these giant 90s sitcom sets. And it goes back and forth from this bright laughing to, the dark reality. So it's really, really cool. So season 2, spoiler alerts, just minor spoilers. Allison's plans from the first season didn't go the way she was expecting. And so now she's got a new plan for how she is going to escape her life and this marriage and all of that. And she's not the most moral or intelligent character either. So it's an interesting dynamic, and it's really funny. I watched the first episode of the second season earlier today. And it flows. It's good. It's funny. It's definitely funny.
And where can you catch it?
And you can catch it on AMC Plus is where they are making it available now. But the first episode is free, and you can watch that for free. So that's Kevin Can F Himself, season 2. But James, besides that, I got to watch something really, really cool. And that it was kind of scary. Nope. Jordan Peele's Nope. No way. I finally got to the theater. And I'm so very glad that I got to watch it in a theater, because it was stunning, it was terrifying, but it was also really funny. So I thought we could talk about some of the spoilers a little bit here.
Yeah, so I think just right off the bat, I think the biggest spoiler, and you find this out midway through, is that the actual spaceship that you see, and then you can see darting from cloud to cloud, is actually the alien creature itself.
Yeah,
like an animal. And so, and the way they view it, and like I don't think they necessarily call it an alien or like from space per se, if I can remember correctly, but they do refer to it as like an animal or being like an animal. And so I thought the design and the reveal that the spaceship was the actual creature, and then and how it uses it's like this suction force to abduct food or horses or people, and so like that was a creative way on the whole, like what was previously considered like a spaceship with a laser beam of sorts that pulls you up, and so this was an interesting take on that.
Yeah, so I think they did such a fun job of kind of turning the horror genre on its head a bit. So instead of like, holy crap, there's an alien thing flying around and eating our horses and like, being scared and running away from it, they're like, we got to get the Oprah shot. We got to get this on camera. We got to
We
get
need
this
to make
Oprah
money off of this.
so that we can become millionaires and make money off of this, right? So that's the plot. That's the conflict. They're trying to get this on camera versus trying to get the hell out of there, which is what I would do. I'd never come back. But, you know, then they bring in, like, the tech guy who becomes, you know, just emotionally invested and kind of never leaves. And I think that the cast did an amazing job. We've got Daniel Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer, Steven Yeun, and Daniel Pereira. So, and they all did an amazing job. And I think what was kind of the most interesting part of it for me was Steven Yeun's character. So he was a child TV star who survived an animal attack, who survived a chimpanzee going crazy on set and, like, killing everybody and ripping their faces off, and he was the only one that came out unscathed. And so now he runs, like, this Western-themed little mini theme park.
Like a dude ranch, yeah.
Like a dude ranch type thing, right? And it goes in with this theme of understanding predators and animals and kind of the juxtaposition of wanting to be close to the thrill of it all, but not really understanding the reality or danger of that, but needing to get it on camera, needing to get these crazy things on camera. And he thinks that he understands. Yeah, the ape scenes were very disturbing. Were very, very disturbing. So bringing that creepy horror factor into it and that gore factor definitely throughout the film. But Steven Yeun's character, who I think is Jude, I think its name is, or Jupe.
Yeah, Ricky Jupe Park.
Yeah, Jupe. Jupe Park, right. He thinks that he understands the predator. He thinks that he understands the animal. So he notices the alien also, but instead of, in thinking that he understands it, he kind of makes it into a sideshow, or tries to.
Yeah.
And ends up getting everybody eaten. And that, like, really shocked me. Because not only do they all get sucked up, but you see them, like, getting eaten and digested by this alien creature. And it was so terrifying and so intense. And just being able to create that feeling for audience in broad daylight, just with the, you know, with the subtlety or the reality factor of these things, I thought was really clever and really well done. So that, yeah, damn.
One part that creeped me out, was the kids in the barn, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, spoilers and everything. So there's a scene where Daniel Kaluuya's character OJ, he's in this barn after, like, a light switch turns on. This is after weird things have already started happening on the farm. And so he goes over there with a flashlight, and, you know, his flashlight doesn't work, and he's trying to figure out why the light in the barn turned on. He goes to the light switch, turns it off. As he's walking away, light turns back on. And then he turns around, and you're just staring at this scene where, like, everything's, like, stagnant, nothing's moving. You're waiting for something to pop up. You're waiting for something to move. Now, all of a sudden, something, like, that's barely in a shadow stands up, and you're like, oh my god, that was in frame the entire time. And just the weird movements of this, you know, quote-unquote creature was creeped me out as soon as I saw it. And then you saw another one pop out, and I'm like, oh, this again, this is the beginning of the film, so, like, okay, this is where this movie is going. This is crazy. It kind of reminded me of Signs. And then eventually you find out that it's actually kids from the neighboring dude ranch who are pulling a prank. Because OJ's sister, Kiki Palmer's character, stole a horse. And so that scene, like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm buckled in. Like, this is good misdirection and good, you know, creep factor when that was still unfolding.
And it's a nice homage to movies like Signs. So definitely it brings you in genre, and you're right. It does a really good job of having that creep factor and that fun. It makes it fun because you're getting those jump scares, but you're not quite there. And So yeah, it's definitely fun. It's a lot more fun than a traditional horror movie, I think.
Yeah, and to an extent also, what this movie also, and I mentioned in this in my review too, is that this has the feel of Jaws, where like there's an unknown monster, this unknown creature that's like traveling cloud to cloud or in the sea, and you don't know when it's going to strike, where it is, but it, at one point it will come trying to get you.
Yeah.
And then these characters, kind of like in Jaws, they're trying to capture it. And in this case, in Nope's case, they're trying to capture it in film or on video or a photograph. And so I like that kind of thrill of like the hunt when it came to the main characters and the danger that came along with them trying to reach their goal. That there's monetary goal, and in Jaws, of course, just the safety of the beach town. So no, I had nothing but glowing reviews for Nope, and I'm so glad you did see it in theaters, because for a movie on that scale, I think it deserves to be seen and appreciated there too.
Yeah. So I was very happy. I was pleasantly surprised, because I'm not normally a horror fan. I'm not normally a scary movie fan, but there was enough fun in there for me, and just novelty. It was so interesting. It's so well done. Such a great and creative and unique idea that it's spectacular. 10 out of 10. Shirtless Kylo Ren's. Go see Nope if you haven't already. And it is now available for rent on the streaming services. So Amazon, YouTube, Apple TV, Vudu, and a few others. I think you can rent it for $20, watch it at home. But, like James said, there's no matching the theater experience.
Yeah, go to AMC, get those Impossible Nuggets, get the curly fries, get the large soda.
They were so good, yeah.
Make a day of it and treat yourself. And so thank you for treating yourself by watching and listening to The Hub on Hollywood this week. We will be back next week or very soon with the new latest casting calls out there, as well as the latest New England film news in the industry. Trying to set up some interviews right now to try to dive deeper into the local filming aspect. And so stay tuned for those episodes. A lot of cool stuff.
If you are a local film worker and you want to tell us about the incredible things that you do, are you a producer? Do you work with animals? Are you an animal wrangler on set? Do you have movie cars? Any cool thing that you do on set here in New England, reach out to the Hub on Hollywood.
We want you to be the next Tinsel Townie.
Oh, God, yes, the Tinsel
You will be the next Tinsel Townie. I love that.
That could be such a great... Oh, my gosh, we're geniuses.
See, it writes itself. It writes itself.
Oh, my God. It's incredible. Incredible.
Join us.
Join us. So for more incredible Hub on Hollywood, join us next week. Until then, I'm Jamie.
I'm James.
We'll see you then.
Bye.
All right, bye.